The unexpected rescue. Captain Maya Chen adjusted her combat visor as the diplomatic shuttle approached the Zolari orbital platform. After 15 years of interstellar tensions, this meeting was supposed to mark a turning point in human-Zolari relations. Maya wasn't a diplomat. She was security, one of Earth's finest special operators assigned to protect the human delegation. Her dark eyes scanned the approaching station, its crystalline architecture gleaming against the backdrop of stars. "You look tense, Captain," Ambassador Reyes commented from her seat. "This is a peace mission, remember?" Maya nodded curtly. "With respect, Ambassador, I've seen too many peace missions go sideways. The Zolari have been expanding into contested systems for years, which is why we're here," Reyes replied. "To establish boundaries before misunderstandings become conflicts." As they docked, Maya checked her concealed pulse pistol. Regulation dictated minimal armament during diplomatic functions, but Maya had survived this long by being prepared. Her team of 4 other security personnel spread out behind the delegation, their trained eyes watchful despite warm Zolari greetings. The Zolari were humanoid but distinctly alien, towering beings with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions, currently a peaceful blue-green. Their ambassador, Lord Tevik, bowed deeply. "Ambassador Reyes, we welcome Earth's representatives to Zolari space. Empress Elara sends her personal greetings and will join us shortly." Maya positioned herself at a discreet distance from the proceedings, cataloging exits and potential threats. The station was elegant but unfamiliar, its organic architecture flowing in ways human structures never did. Hours passed in diplomatic pleasantries until the station's alert system suddenly blared. "Unidentified vessels approaching," announced a Zolari voice over the communication system. "All security personnel to defensive positions." Maya's comm unit crackled. "Captain, we got multiple ships dropping out of FTL. Not Zolari or human signatures." Her lieutenant's voice was tight. Before Maya could respond, the first explosion rocked the station. Ceiling panels crashed down as atmosphere began venting from a distant section. Lord Tevik's skin flashed alarmed crimson. "Pirates," he hissed. "The Shroud Corsairs." Maya grabbed Ambassador Reyes. "We need to get back to our shuttle," she ordered, but a second explosion, closer this time, sent them all diving for cover. "Impossible," Tevik was saying. "They couldn't have known about this meeting unless—" The third explosion separated Maya from both her team and the diplomats. Emergency bulkheads slammed down, sealing her in an unfamiliar corridor with smoke rapidly filling the space. Her training kicked in: find alternate extraction, rendezvous with team at secondary point, protect the mission. As she navigated through the damaged station, Maya encountered fallen Zolari security forces. The pirates, whoever they were, had come prepared for Zolari defenses. She moved quietly, pulse pistol now openly in hand, when a sound caught her attention. Not the clash of combat or the groan of damaged infrastructure, but something small, frightened, and distinctly alive. Following the sound to a collapsed section of decorative wall panels, Maya found herself staring at a small Zolari child. Unlike the adults, the child was tiny, barely reaching Maya's waist, with skin flickering between terrified white and desperate purple. Around its neck hung an ornate medallion that seemed to pulse with internal light. Maya hesitated only a moment before holstering her weapon and crouching down. "Hey there," she said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you." The child's large, multifaceted eyes studied her with equal parts fear and curiosity. "I'm Maya," she continued, tapping her chest. "Human. Friend." The child's skin settled into a cautious lavender. "She," Maya guessed from the clothing, pointed to herself and made a musical sound. "Elara." A nearby explosion reminded Maya of their precarious situation. The pirates were moving through the station with purpose. She reached out slowly. "Elara, we need to move. It's not safe here." To her surprise, the child understood, taking her hand without hesitation. Maya lifted Elara into her arms and continued moving toward what station schematics in her visor indicated might be an escape pod bay. They had almost reached it when three figures in mismatched combat gear rounded the corner, definitely not Zolari security. Their helmets concealed their species, but their intent was clear as they raised weapons. "Human," the leader growled through a translator. "Give us the child and walk away. This isn't your fight." Maya shifted Elara behind her, drawing her pulse pistol in one smooth motion. "Seems like it is now." The firefight was brief but intense. Maya's combat implants gave her enhanced reflexes, allowing her to drop two pirates before taking cover. The third advanced, firing wildly, until Maya caught him with a precision shot through the faceplate of his helmet. "We need to move," she told Elara, who was watching her with newfound intensity. "They're looking for you specifically, aren't they?" Elara's skin shifted to a deep blue as she nodded. The escape pod bay had been damaged in the attack, leaving only one functional pod. Maya secured Elara inside and began the launch sequence when her comm crackled to life. "Captain Chen, report position," came her lieutenant's voice. "Escape pod bay, Section E. I have a Zolari child with me." Pirates targeted her specifically. "Acknowledged. The Zolari are counterattacking, but the diplomatic shuttle was damaged. We've fallen back tow." Static cut off the transmission. Maya made a split-second decision, completing the launch sequence. The escape pod ejected from the station, thrusters orienting them away from the battle. Through the viewport, Maya saw flashes of weapons fire as Zolari ships engaged the pirate vessels. "Looks like we're on our own for now," she told Elara, setting the pod's beacon to transmit on both human and Zolari emergency frequencies. As they drifted away from the station, the pod's navigation system identified their trajectory. They were heading toward the small moon orbiting the gas giant below. The pod's limited thrusters couldn't alter their course significantly, only enough to ensure a rough but survivable landing. During the descent, Elara touched her medallion, which glowed brighter. She spoke, and to Maya's surprise, the medallion translated her musical language. "Thank you for saving me, human Maya. Just doing my job, kid." "No," Elara said, her eyes serious beyond her years. "You fought for me when you did not have to. The pirates, they came for me." "Why would pirates target a child?" Maya asked, securing their harnesses as the pod entered the moon's thin atmosphere. Elara's skin darkened to royal purple. "Because I am Elara na Nyara, daughter of Empress Nyara." Maya's eyes widened. "You're the princess." "I am the Empress heir," Elara corrected. "Those who attacked us are not just pirates. They serve my mother's cousin, Valoran, who wishes the throne." The pod shuddered violently as they hit the upper atmosphere. Maya checked the systems. They were coming in too fast, the heat shields barely holding. "Hold on tight, Your Highness," Maya said, taking manual control. "This is going to be rough." The landing was indeed rough. A controlled crash through dense vegetation before coming to rest half-buried in strange, phosphorescent soil. Once the pod stopped moving, Maya did a quick assessment. She was bruised but intact. Elara seemed unharmed, her resilient Zolari physiology apparently better suited to impact than human bodies. Outside, the landscape was alien and hostile. A jungle-like environment with plants that seemed to pulse with internal bioluminescence. The air was breathable according to the pod's sensors, but barely rich in compounds that would cause gradual respiratory distress for humans. "We need to find shelter and wait for rescue," Maya said, collecting the pod's emergency supplies. "Both our people will be looking for us, and Valoran's pirates will be hunting us," Elara added quietly. "They cannot allow me to return to my mother." Maya checked her pulse pistol's charge, 60% remaining, not enough for extended combat. The escape pod contained basic survival equipment, a medical kit, 3 days' worth of human rations, which might be toxic to Zolari, and a damaged communications array. As night fell on the alien moon, Strange howls echoed through the glowing forest. Maya set up a defensive position using the pod's hull for cover, Elara close beside her. "Get some rest, Your Highness," Maya said. "I'll take first watch." Elara's skin shifted to a warm gold as she looked up at Maya. "Why do you protect me when our peoples barely trust each other?" Maya considered the question. "Because it's the right thing to do. Because you're a child. Because maybe if I get you back to your mother safely, our peoples will have a reason to trust each other a little more." As Elara drifted to sleep, her medallion dimming, Maya kept vigilant watch over the alien princess who had unexpectedly become her responsibility. Somewhere above them, she knew, both human and Zolari forces would be searching, but so would the pirates who had attacked with such precision. Maya checked her weapons one more time. She was a soldier, not a diplomat, but her next actions might impact interstellar relations for generations to come. For now, her mission was clear: protect the child, survive, find a way home. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges. In the strange light of the alien forest, Captain Maya Chen settled in for a long night, one hand on her weapon, the other protectively near the sleeping alien child who represented both danger and hope. Journey through hostile territory. Dawn broke on the luminescent moon with an eerie silence. The jungle pulsated with colors, blues shifting to purples, and finally to a sharp, vibrant orange that sent shafts of light through the canopy. Maya checked the pod systems again, but the news wasn't good. The communications array was beyond field repair, and the emergency beacon could only transmit short-range signals, unlikely to reach orbit. Elara woke gracefully, her skin cycling through colors before settling on a calm blue. "The atmosphere here," she said through her translation medallion. "It contains toxins harmful to humans." Maya nodded, already feeling a slight burning in her lungs. "The pod's medical kit has filtration masks, but they're only good for about 36 hours. "We have a saying," Elara offered, rising to her full height, still barely reaching Maya's waist. "Time flows differently when death approaches. We must find better shelter." Maya couldn't help but smile at the child's formal speech. "Your English is impressive. All royal children study diplomatic languages," Elara explained. "Though I find your tongue angular. I prefer Centaurian harmonics." They gathered what supplies they could carry and set out away from the crash site. Maya's military training told her the pirates would check the pod first, so distance was their ally. Her visor's scanning function identified a range of rocky outcroppings 2 kilometers south that might offer both cover and defensible positions. As they walked, Maya noticed Elara moving with unexpected grace through the alien vegetation. Several times, the child steered them away from plants that Maya's scanners later identified as highly toxic or predatory. The jungle was alive in ways Earth's forests had never been. Plants that tracked their movement, fungi that released spores when approached, creatures that looked like a cross between insects and reptiles watching from hidden perches. "Your mother," Maya said as they paused to rest. "Tell me about her." Elara's skin rippled with what Maya was beginning to recognize as pride. "Empress Elara is the 16th ruler of the United Zolari Dominions. She is just and wise, though humans might not understand our ways. She seeks peace with your kind, despite opposition from the traditional faction. And this Valoran, your mother's cousin, he's with this traditional faction." "Valoran leads them," Elara confirmed. "He believes humans are a contamination in the galactic order, that we should cleanse rather than communicate." She paused, her eyes finding Maya's. "He is wrong. I have always believed this, even before you saved me." By midday, they reached the rocky formation. Maya identified a shallow cave with a defensible entrance and good sightlines of the surrounding jungle. As she set up a perimeter, Elara explored the cave, her skin glowing softly to provide light. "Captain Chen," Elara called suddenly, her voice echoing. "There are markings here, old ones." Maya joined her deeper in the cave. Along the walls were etched symbols that resembled neither human nor modern Zolari writing. Elara touched them reverently. "These are ancient Zolari glyphs," she whispered, "from before the Great Migration. This moon was once an outpost of our earliest interstellar explorers. Can you read them?" "Some. This speaks of a sanctuary, a place between worlds." Elara's fingers traced the symbols as her skin pulsed with concentration. "And a communication hub." Maya's pulse quickened. "Does that mean there might be working technology here?" "Perhaps," Elara said. "The ancients built to last eternity." A sudden crack of thunder interrupted them. Except it wasn't thunder. Maya recognized the sound of orbital craft entering atmosphere at combat speeds. "They found us," she said, checking her pulse pistol. "Stay here." From the cave entrance, Maya spotted 3 sleek craft descending through the canopy. Not Zolari military design, but not standard pirate vessels either. Custom-built raiders with sophisticated scanning equipment. They were being hunted by professionals. "We need to move deeper," Maya told Elara when she returned. "Follow those markings. If there's ancient tech here, it might be our only chance." They ventured deeper into the cave system, which soon revealed itself to be not natural but constructed, smooth walls giving way to geometrically perfect chambers. Elara's medallion glowed brighter as they proceeded, reacting to something Maya couldn't sense. The royal medallion contains psi-technological interfaces, Elara explained. It's responding to dormant systems. In the central chamber, they found what remained of an ancient Zolari outpost. Consoles covered in dust, crystalline power sources long dormant, and a central pillar that rose to the ceiling. "Can you activate any of it?" Maya asked, keeping one eye on the passage behind them. Elara approached the central pillar, placing her medallion against it. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the medallion flared with brilliant light, and energy coursed through the chamber. Ancient systems hummed to life, displays flickering with symbols. "It recognizes royal authorization," Elara said with wonder. "I can access basic functions." While Elara worked with the ancient technology, Maya set traps along the passages using components from their emergency supplies. Simple alarm systems that would give them warning if the pirates approached. Hours passed as Elara communed with the ancient system, her skin cycling through colors Maya hadn't seen before, deep resonant golds and silvers that seemed to harmonize with the technology. Finally, she looked up. "I've activated the communications array," she announced. "It's old, but powerful. It can reach orbit." "Can you send a message to your mother's forces?" Maya asked. "Yes, but..." Elara hesitated. "The signal won't be secure. Valoran will intercept it too." Maya weighed their options. "We're running out of time and air. My filtration mask has maybe 12 hours left. We need to take the risk." Elara nodded and turned back to the console. Her fingers danced across symbols as she composed a message in Zolari code. When she finished, she looked at Maya. "I've included your human identification codes as well. Both our peoples will know we're here, and alive." "And so will Valoran," Maya reminded her. "Yes," Elara agreed, her skin darkening with resolve. "But I am not without resources." As if responding to her words, the chamber's lights pulsed, and sections of the floor slid open to reveal compartments containing what Maya recognized as weapons, ancient but likely still functional. The ancients were not just explorers, Elara explained, lifting what appeared to be a crystalline staff. They were warriors when needed. The first of Maya's alarms triggered less than an hour later. The pirates had found the cave system and were methodically searching it. Maya positioned herself at a choke point in the passage while Elara prepared the ancient chamber's defenses. "Remember," Maya instructed, "if I fall back, seal the inner door. Don't open it for anyone but me or verified Zolari royal guards." "I will not abandon you, Captain Chen," Elara said firmly. "This isn't about abandonment. It's about mission priority. You're the objective, getting you home safely." The firefight, when it came, was intense. 3 pirates in advanced combat gear pressed the attack, using sonic weapons that disrupted Maya's neural implants. She fell back methodically, using the narrowness of the passage to negate their numerical advantage. One pirate fell to her pulse pistol. Another triggered one of her improvised traps, collapsing part of the passage. The third proved more difficult, a cybernetically enhanced mercenary who moved with unnatural speed. A glancing hit from his weapon sent Maya sprawling, her filtration mask damage. As the mercenary advanced for the kill, a brilliant beam of energy struck him from behind. Elara stood in the passage, the ancient crystalline staff humming with power. "You will not harm my protector," she said, her voice amplified by the technology. The mercenary turned to face this new threat, but Maya recovered quickly enough to place a final, perfect shot through his unprotected neck joint. As the mercenary fell, Maya gasped for breath. The damaged filtration mask was failing, and the moon's toxic atmosphere began burning her lungs in earnest. "Captain." Elara rushed to her side. "Your breathing apparatus." "Done for," Maya confirmed between coughs. "How long until rescue could arrive?" "Hours at minimum," Elara said, her skin pale with concern. Maya nodded grimly. Without filtration, she had perhaps 2 hours before respiratory failure. They returned to the central chamber, sealing it against further incursion. As Maya's condition deteriorated, Elara approached with her medallion in hand. "This contains emergency medical protocols," she explained. "It can generate a stasis field, temporarily." "Will it work on a human?" "Unknown," Elara admitted, "but it's your only chance." With nothing to lose, Maya nodded. Elara placed the medallion on Maya's chest and sang a series of notes that activated it. Cool energy spread through Maya's body, slowing her heartbeat, reducing her need for oxygen. "It's working," Elara said with relief. "But it won't last forever." Through the haze of stasis, Maya watched as Elara returned to the ancient communication array, broadcasting continuously now, calling for help with increasing urgency. The young princess who had seemed so formal now worked with determined focus, her royal dignity giving way to practical necessity. Hours blurred together as Maya drifted in and out of consciousness. The stasis field preserved her life but couldn't heal the damage already done to her lungs. In her more lucid moments, she watched Elara standing guard over her, the ancient weapon ready. Then, finally, the chamber trembled with the impact of ships landing nearby. Voices echoed through the passages, some speaking Zolari, others in human standard. Elara stood between Maya and the sealed door, weapon raised, her skin shifting between determination and hope. "If it's Valoran's forces," she said quietly, "I will not let them take either of us alive." The door's locking mechanism began to glow as override protocols activated from the outside. Maya summoned her remaining strength to raise her pulse pistol, ready for one final stand alongside the alien princess she had sworn to protect. The door slid open to reveal armored figures, but they wore the distinctive ceremonial plates of the Zolari Royal Guard, and behind them, human special forces in environmental suits. "Princess Elara," the lead Zolari guard said, dropping to one knee. "By the eternal light, you're safe. Captain Chen requires immediate medical attention," Elara commanded, all trace of childishness gone from her voice. "Atmospheric toxicity. Prepare transport to the flagship and alert the Empress that we are secure." As human medics rushed to Maya's side, replacing the failing stasis field with proper medical equipment, she saw Elara standing tall among her people, no longer just a child in need of protection, but a princess who had proven her own worth. "You did good, Hid," Maya managed to say before the sedatives took hold. Elara's skin shimmered with warm gold as she took Maya's hand. "We both did, Captain. Rest now. When you wake, you will meet my mother." The Empress's gratitude. Maya awakened to the soft hum of advanced medical equipment. The burn in her lungs was gone, replaced by a cool, refreshing sensation with each breath. She was aboard a vessel, not human design, but Zolari, judging by the flowing architecture and the iridescent material of the walls. "The human awakens," observed a tall Zolari in medical attire. skin pulsing a professional blue-green. Your lungs have been treated with regenerative protocols. The damage was extensive but not irreparable. Maya tried to sit up, finding her body responsive but weak. How long was I out? 3 standard cycles, the medic replied. Princess Elara has inquired about your condition every quarter cycle, most persistent for one so young. Before Maya could ask more questions, the chamber door slid open, revealing Elara herself. The young princess was transformed from the frightened child Maya had first encountered. She wore formal attire befitting her station, flowing garments that seemed to capture and refract light, with her royal medallion prominently displayed. Captain Chen, Elara said, her skin brightening with genuine pleasure. You honor us by recovering. Maya couldn't help but smile at the formal greeting. Pretty sure that's my job, Your Highness. The Empress requests your presence when you are able, Elara continued. We have arrived at the royal fleet's position. My mother wishes to thank you personally. 4 hours later, after being deemed medically fit, Maya found herself escorted through the massive Zolari flagship. Unlike the diplomatic station, this vessel was clearly military, though its organic design principles made it feel more like walking through a living entity than a constructed ship. Her uniform had been cleaned and repaired, and she wore it with the pride of Earth's special forces, though she had surrendered her weapons as a courtesy. The royal audience chamber was breathtaking, a vast space where gravity seemed optional, with Zolari officials floating at different levels according to rank or function. At the center, on an elevated platform, waited Empress Elara. Maya had seen images of the Zolari ruler, but they failed to capture her presence. Taller than most of her species, with skin that rippled between royal purple and commanding gold, Elara possessed a gravitas that needed no translation. Beside her floated Elara, who offered Maya a subtle nod of encouragement. As Maya approached, the chamber fell silent. She stopped at the appropriate distance and gave the formal bow she'd been hastily taught. Captain Maya Chen of Earth Special Forces announced a Zolari herald, savior of Princess Elara. The Empress studied Maya for a long moment before speaking, her words translated by hovering devices. You protected my daughter when you had no obligation to do so, Elara said, her voice resonant and musical. You risked your life against those who would destroy the peace between our peoples. I did my duty, Your Majesty, Maya replied simply. No, the Empress countered. Your duty was to your diplomatic mission and your people. You chose to extend protection to a child of another species against forces that sought to ignite war between us. Maya glanced at Elara, who was watching the exchange intently. Anyone would have done the same. That is where you are wrong, Captain Chen, the Empress said. Many would have seen only an alien child, a potential bargaining chip, or simply an inconvenience during their own escape. You saw a life worth preserving. The Empress gestured, and viewing screens materialized around the chamber. They displayed footage of the battle that had followed the pirate attack, Zolari and human vessels fighting side by side against Valorant's forces. Your actions catalyzed something unprecedented, Elara continued. When both our forces received Elara's transmission containing both Zolari royal codes and your human identification, they coordinated without hesitation. The first true joint operation in our histories. A new figure stepped forward. Ambassador Reyes, whom Maya had last seen during the initial attack. Captain Chen, Reyes said with evident pride. While you were recovering, the Empress and I have been negotiating a formal alliance treaty. Your protection of Princess Elara demonstrated the potential of our peoples working together in a way years of formal diplomacy couldn't achieve. And what of Valorant? Maya asked. The Empress's skin darkened. My cousin miscalculated. By attacking a diplomatic station and targeting my hair, he revealed his hand too soon. His remaining forces are being hunted by joint patrols. A murmur ran through the assembled Zolari officials. Maya realized this was not simply an acknowledgement ceremony. It was a policy announcement being witnessed by the highest levels of Zolari government. Captain Chen, the Empress said, her voice now carrying formal weight. "I have discussed with your ambassador a unique proposal, one never before offered to a human." Maya stood at attention, unsure what to expect. The position of royal guard to the heir is one of highest honor in Zolari tradition, Elara explained. It is traditionally filled only by those of ancient bloodlines who have proven their worth through generations of service. Elara floated forward, her skin shimmering with anticipation. "I am offering you this position," the Empress continued, "to serve as Princess Elara's personal guardian, advisor on human affairs, and liaison between our peoples. You would retain your rank and connection to Earth forces, but would be granted Zolari citizenship and privileges equal to our highest noble houses." The chamber erupted in a harmonic hum that Maya's translator identified as the Zolari equivalent of shocked whispers. Ambassador Reyes stepped closer. "This is unprecedented, Captain," she said quietly. "The diplomatic and strategic value of having a human in the Zolari royal household cannot be overstated. Earth Command has already approved the assignment, should you accept." Maya looked at Elara, whose expression was carefully neutral despite her skin betraying hope and excitement in flashes of gold and blue. "With respect, Your Majesty," Maya said carefully, "I'm a soldier, not a diplomat. I'm trained to fight, not navigate court politics." "Precisely why you are suited for this role," the Empress replied. "The position requires one who sees clearly, acts decisively, and understands that protection sometimes requires fighting, but also knowing when not to fight. You have demonstrated these qualities." Maya considered the offer. It would mean leaving behind everything familiar: Earth, her unit, the life she had known. Yet she couldn't deny the opportunity it represented, not just personally but for human Zolari relations. "Before I decide," Maya said, "I'd like to speak with Princess Elara. Alone." The request was unusual, but the Empress nodded her assent. The chamber cleared until only Maya and Elara remained in a small antechamber. "This wasn't your idea, was it?" Maya asked once they were alone. Elara's skin rippled with what Maya now recognized as mild embarrassment. "Not entirely. But I did suggest that you would be ideal." "Why me?" "You barely know me." "I know enough," Elara said simply. "In the cave, when your mask was failing, you positioned yourself between me and the door, even though you could barely stand. You were prepared to die protecting me." "That's just training." "No," Elara insisted. "It is character. The royal guard requires absolute loyalty, not to the throne or even to the empire, but to the individual they protect. You have already demonstrated that loyalty." Maya studied the young princess who had shown such courage during their ordeal. "If I accept, what exactly would my duties entail?" "You would be my shadow," Elara explained. "My protector, yes, but also my teacher about humanity, and I would teach you our ways. As I grow into my role as heir, you would advise me on matters concerning humans. When I eventually take the throne, you would be among my closest counselors." "That's a lot of responsibility." "Yes," Elara agreed, "but consider the alternative. Our people stand at a crossroads. Valoran's faction failed this time, but the sentiment he represents, fear of the other, exists among both Zolari and humans. Each needs to see the other as more than alien." Maya understood the logic. By accepting this position, she would become a visible symbol of cooperation, a human trusted with the life of the Zolari heir. "One condition," Maya said finally. "I want regular contact with Earth, including visits. I won't be cut off from my own kind." Elara's skin brightened. "So you accept?" "I'm considering it," Maya said with a small smile. "One more question. What do you want?" "Not the Empress, not your government. You." Elara seemed surprised by the question. After a moment, her formal demeanor softened. "I want what I have wanted since I was very small," she said. "To build bridges rather than walls. To learn rather than fear." She paused. "And I would like to have someone near who sees me as Elara, not just as the princess or the heir." Someone who knows when you're being a normal kid versus a royal pain, Maya suggested with a raised eyebrow. Elara's skin flashed with surprised amusement. Yes, exactly that. When they returned to the main chamber, the assembled officials and diplomats watched expectantly. Maya approached the Empress and knelt as she'd been instructed. "I accept the position of royal guard to Princess Elara," she announced formally. "I pledge to protect her life, guide her understanding of humanity, and serve as a bridge between our peoples." The Empress extended her hand, palm glowing with bioluminescence. "Rise, Captain Maya Chen of Earth and Zolari, the first human to join the royal household." As Maya stood, ceremonial armor was brought forward. Designed in Zolari style, but modified to accommodate human physiology. Its surface rippled with colors that matched Elara's royal hues while incorporating the insignia of Earth's special forces. "This marks the beginning of a new chapter in our histories," the Empress declared, "one written together rather than in opposition." Later, as the formal ceremonies concluded, Maya found herself on an observation deck overlooking the vast Zolari fleet alongside human vessels. Elara joined her, now dressed more casually. "Are you having regrets already?" the princess asked, noticing Maya's contemplative expression. "Not regrets," Maya replied. "Just thinking about how one small decision can change everything. If I hadn't found you in that corridor." "But you did," Elara said simply. "My mother believes there are no accidents in the great pattern of existence. Perhaps you were meant to find me." Maya didn't share the Zolari's spiritual beliefs, but she couldn't deny the improbable sequence of events that had led to this moment. "Well, Your Highness," she said, straightening into a more formal posture, "as your newly appointed royal guard, what's our first order of business?" Elara's skin shimmered with mischief. "I believe my first royal command will be for you to teach me the combat move you used on the third pirate, the one where you dislocated his breathing apparatus." Maya laughed. "I'm pretty sure that's not what your mother had in mind for cultural exchange." "Perhaps not," Elara conceded, "but a princess should know how to defend herself, don't you think?" As they stood together, human soldier and alien princess, looking out at the combined fleet, Maya reflected on the responsibility she had accepted. There would be challenges ahead, cultural misunderstandings, political maneuvers, and likely more direct threats. But in protecting this one remarkable child, she had somehow helped protect the future of two civilizations. "First lesson of being a royal guard," Maya said, adopting a serious tone. "Always make sure the princess eats her vegetables." Elara's skin flashed with indignation. "I am heir to the United Zolari Dominions.